Hey guys, never in my life I thought I would be making a vlog, but that's what I'm doing right now. I am at the Cochin International Airport. I'm sitting here. I have a lot of time for my flight to Jakarta, and I never thought I'd be flying to Indonesia. I'm only doing this for one specific purpose, which is to watch events unfold live. I have been daydreaming about this for years now, 10, 15 years, I'm not really sure how long. But every time I listen to the music, this is what I have always wanted to do. I'm here waiting for my boarding, which is a few hours away. So I thought I'll just walk you through the entire process of traveling from India to Indonesia. Should probably prepare a script for this.
So yeah, like I said, this is my vlog where I travel to Indonesia, and this is everything that I saw and experienced along the way. I am currently in Cochin International Airport, about to board my AirAsia flight to Jakarta, and the flight has a layover in Malaysia where I'll be spending close to 3 hours waiting for my next flight. The AirAsia flight was pretty good. I didn't really have any complaints with it. It was comfortable. Everything was pretty good, to be honest, except for the fact that this airplane doesn't really have Wi-Fi. So I knew I needed food on the airplane because food at Cochin International Airport is like super costly, 700 rupees for a sandwich. And there was no food with my air ticket with AirAsia. But AirAsia actually lets you pre-book meals on their flight, and it is much more affordable than buying food directly inside the airplane. And so I had this chicken rice, which was actually super delicious. And then after a short nap, we finally reached Malaysia. And oh my, the view was incredible. At this point, I was just happy that I was in a different country all by myself, because I never even dreamed that I would be going on a solo international trip. I was a little nervous, so I made sure to click photos and send updates to all my close friends. Well, not all my close friends, just like 2 of them, but yeah. And Malaysia, at least the airport, looked so beautiful. I just wish that I could just get out of the airport and get to explore Malaysia a little bit. But sadly, I won't be leaving the airport. I will be leaving the airport, just not to Malaysia. I'll be getting on my next flight and going to Jakarta in a few hours. And at this part of the airport, if I go to the right, that is where the domestic transfers are. And I will have to go to the left, where international transfers are. And shortly after passport checking and everything, you basically reach this lounge type of area where you can relax, you can buy stuff, but more importantly, you can check the details of your next flight. And that's what I did here. I clicked photos of my next flight and noted down the gate that I should be waiting at, and I slowly made my way there. One thing I noticed about Malaysia is that their currency is a little weird when it's written in short form. All Malayalis can relate, I guess. And there are a lot of things that you can buy here, but all of this is actually better for people with good money, not for people like me who are flying solo on a budget. And then after walking for a while, I reached another security check where I had to stop recording. And even after the security check, there were many shops there, and I was spending time checking out the local delicacies and snacks, and even comparing the prices of some items. This neck pillow just cost 500 rupees back in India. And then I headed out towards my gate, and on the way I was looking for power outlets to charge my phone. And it was absolutely disappointing to see there was not even one single power outlet that worked in Kuala Lumpur Airport. Which is horrible, because in Cochin International Airport there are literally hundreds of power outlets that you can use. So here's a pro tip. If you're traveling to Malaysia, definitely bring a power bank. And so after a few more hours of waiting, it was time for me to board my next flight to Jakarta. So a word of advice for anyone who's trying to book flights to Indonesia or similar countries, and if your flight has a layover, make sure that you have enough time to get to the next gate and to get on the next flight. So if your layover is too short, it might be a bit risky because you might not have enough time to travel to the next gate, especially if you have other formalities in the layover airport. Oh, and I had this chicken biryani on board and it was great. Finally, after a very short trip, I finally reached Jakarta, Indonesia. And after walking for a long time, I finally reached this place with this QR code, which is basically where you do your customs declaration. So just scan it and fill the form and you're pretty much good to go. And the next thing I knew that I had to do was get my visa on arrival. And the funny thing is, I actually had to walk a lot just to find the counter for visa on arrival. Mainly because I think it was off season for tourists in Jakarta. So I was the only one who was looking for this counter. But in the end, when I did find the counter, it was all good because I was the only one there. There was no queue. I just had to pay $35 and I got my visa on arrival. And then it was time for immigration, and whenever I had doubts, I would just ask the staff and they were all really helpful.
Oh, Indian?
Yeah,
Mana counter? Foreigner? Go there.
that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One thing that I must mention was that I was very grateful to have people who really helped me a lot to actually make this dream come true. This trip was only possible because of them, including my mom and my friends who always answered all my doubts, especially my boss Anand, who I even called at the airport when I was having doubts.
ആനന്ദ്, ഞാനിവിടെ വിസ ഓൺ അറൈവല്ലേ, ഞാൻ $100 പേ ചെയ്തപ്പം.
And then it was time for immigration. And something pretty interesting happened here. The immigration officer asked me why I was visiting Jakarta. And when I told him I was here to watch Avenged Sevenfold live in concert, he asked me more about the band. And it turns out he was a fan as well. And we actually had a really nice chat. I wish I had recorded it, but it was a fun little chat where we both laughed and smiled. And he just let me into the country at the end of it. And it was a nice experience. Navigating Jakarta Airport was pretty much straightforward, although I did have to use Google Lens to translate some of the boards to really understand where I should be going next. Next thing on my to-do list was getting a SIM card, and you can usually buy SIM cards right before you exit the airport. Something you should know about buying SIM cards is that you can actually pre-book your Telkomsel SIM card even before you leave for Jakarta on their website. You need to upload your passport details for verification and you don't have to pay anything at that moment. When you reach Jakarta, just visit a Telkomsel store and buy your SIM card directly from there. If you end up buying a SIM card from the airport like I did, you will end up spending way more than you actually need to. For reference, I am going to post a screenshot of the price I paid here and the price at a local Telkomsel store. I did not really have any other choice because I didn't want to leave the airport without a SIM card or internet connectivity. So I decided to buy the SIM card directly from here. All you need to do is give them your passport. They'll take some photos and some basic details and your SIM gets activated instantly and you're good to go. And after that, I exited the airport and I was officially in Jakarta. Now, all I needed to figure out was how to travel to the accommodation I booked on booking.com. So I had booked a hostel for 3 nights at Kota Tua in Jakarta, and there are primarily two apps that you can use for transportation, Gojek and Grab. For some reason, Gojek didn't really work for me, so I was using Grab and I was figuring out how to book a cab and get to my hostel. And honestly, at this point, I was very confused because I had no idea where to stand and wait for my cab. But every time I was confused or lost in Jakarta, I would always ask a local to help me because people here are just so friendly.
Hah? Tujuannya mana?
No, I booked taxi.
Grab.
Grab, yeah. That's it?
Yes.
Thank you. Excuse me? Grab?
Okay, sorry. Confirmasi to driver. Okay.
There was this Grab employee at the airport, and I just gave my phone to him so that he could help me out. And when I saw him typing something into my phone, I asked him what it was.
What is this?
Promo.
And it turns out to be a discount code.
Promo area. Okay, please waiting. Estimation 10 minutes. Coming, okay?
Thank you so much.
And after waiting for some time, my cab finally arrived and I left the airport. And next up, we were going to the hostel that I booked in Kota Tua. First impressions of Jakarta is how similar it looked to Kerala back home, except the cars were a bit different. But yeah, this was not a different feeling. I almost felt like I was back home in India. So the hostel that I booked, Wonderloft in Kota Tua, is actually pretty far away from the airport, but this highway was pretty effective at reducing the time needed for the trip. You do need to pay toll, but that's included in the taxi fare. This part of Jakarta almost felt like I was back in Kerala, and I was casually telling my friend that the flight just took off from Kerala and landed right back in Kerala. And then sometime later, I reached Kota Tua, where my hostel is. And finally I got off the cab because I reached the hostel. And this is the road right in front of the hostel. There is a small NYPD pizza place and even a tattoo parlor right in front of the hostel. And since I was tired, I thought it was best not to waste any more time and to just get checked in and stretch my feet. So this is Wonderloft Hostel in Kota Tua, Jakarta.
So the total is 540.
So anytime I needed to make a payment in Jakarta, I wanted to be super careful. So I would just Google and convert the money from rupiah to rupees to actually know how much I am spending. And I spent close to 2,700 Indian rupees for 3 nights at this hostel, including breakfast. And breakfast was really good every single morning. So it was money well spent, in my opinion.
So your room name is Tembakau on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
Your bed number is 214. It's a lower bed.
Okay.
Your reservation with breakfast for tomorrow's time from 7 to 10 a.m.
7 to 10 a.m. breakfast time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breakfast is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't have Wi-Fi. Wonderloft 1, 2, 3. All the same password is wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, and here's for the key.
Does this have a locker as well?
Yeah. This one for the locker in front of your room, and this one for the access to the door from outside.
This is for the locker.
Yeah.
And this is for this.
For the door. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's, we also have free coffee and tea. You can take on the table on the corner.
Self-serve, right?
Yeah.
Self-serve, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And refill water beside the fridge.
Okay. Thank you so much. 3rd floor.
3rd floor.
Now what I loved the most about Wonderloft was this common area right here where I spend the most time. This place is really great if you want to meet other travelers and make new friends, And that's exactly what I did here. Now my bed is on the 3rd floor. It's an AC dormitory, and I will show you the room later on. Mainly because I didn't really record anything over there because it's a dormitory. There were other people inside. And so since I was hungry, I left and explored Kota Tua and found this highly rated restaurant. And I tried I think it was called Mee Goreng Jakarta. It was absolutely delicious. And yeah, first impression of Indonesian food. My god, I was just blown away by how good it was. And that meal cost me around 240 rupees, and it was so worth it. I did not expect this video to be this long, so it's time to wrap up this video, and you'll see more of my Jakarta adventures in part 2. So if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in part 2 of my Jakarta vlog.